Hey everyone, welcome back to East Vineland, New Jersey. We are back here on Kubota Farm. Boy, I almost flew through December, then realized, oh, yeah, poplar needs to be harvested. Yeah, almost made that mistake one time again too. So our poplar is ready to go. This is our last poplar harvest, so let's make everything we can out of it. So I went ahead and leased the big boy. Yeah, the John. Oh boy, I hope this works. The John Deere all-in-one. I don't even know what to call it. Monstrosity. Yeah, and along with this is this header right here, which isn't a John Deere header. It's actually for a Krone, but it's in John Deere colors. I thought I would at least do it a little bit of a, get matchy-matchy. It's big. It's not a header for poplar. I understand that. This is not a poplar. I don't think any of this is really poplar, but we're going to make quick work of this poplar. That's the idea behind it. It feels almost kind of fitting, if I'm being honest with you. It feels very Jeremy Clarkson-like, if you're familiar with Jeremy Clarkson. Speaking of, season 2 of Clarkson's Farm is out. Oh, I like that. That's slightly bigger than the header we used last time. And by slightly, I mean a lot. Yeah. I'm liking that. Let's unfold this beast. I remember using something like this back in FS15. And, yeah, kind of enjoying it back then. So let's see what she can do here. So yeah, Clarkson's Farm Season 2 is out if you're interested on Amazon Prime. If you haven't seen Clarkson's Farm, oh, it's so good. And Season 2, I already started watching. It looks like it's going to be every bit as good, if I'm being honest. So, well, let's see how this goes. First of all, will it even work? Okay, good. So it's actually going to accept wood chips, which is good. I wasn't so sure about that because if you look at the this header is meant for poplar or sugarcane. You can get either or. So that was easy. But then the John Deere thingamajobber, I looked at it and I didn't see poplar listed, but I saw wood chips. So I thought, well, maybe she'll work. And she is. So that's good. Oh, good. I did GPS. I wasn't sure if I added GPS to this. Do that 30 feet. We'll do a 0 on that one. I think that's not right. So we'll have to flip it. Flip it good. And let's get her done. I just want to get this poplar, honestly, I want to get this poplar done. I love that header. Look at how that header is just picking up poplar that doesn't exist. That's fantastic. Yeah, so I guess I think I actually saw that these things are legit. That these exist in real life. I don't think there's a John Deere one. I think it's a Chrome model, if I remember correctly. But I swear I looked it up one time, and it's actually a legitimate piece of machinery, if I remember correctly. If that makes me feel any better. Of course, the header is not at all legit for poplar, but what are you gonna do? You know. I would say I'm sad to see the poplar go. If I were sad to see the poplar go, I'm not sad to see it go. I actually don't really dislike it that much. Whoa, getting some weird art. Weird happenings there, it looked like. And honestly, especially on the right map, it's actually could be quite a profitable quite a profitable thing. I mean, particularly because you just don't have, you plant it once and call it good, you know. But if you're going to harvest it correctly, it can be a little tedious. Imagine that, you know, just that view, you know, you're just staring at poplar, man. There's probably deer in here and everything else, who knows, but I'll tell you what, this machine in real life would be quite fun to operate, I would think. Oh, we're getting a pretty good load back there of poplar. That's good. Gonna be full here in just un momento. So now the question is unloading. I'm not particularly sure. It's kind of funny. I don't know why it's funny to me, but it's just wobbling back and forth back there, like, oh man, so unstable. I honestly have no idea. Let's see. I think for me, and I say this about myself, maybe for the normal driver, you could leave this unfolded, but for me, I'm gonna fold the header up so I stand half a chance at lining this up. We're gonna dump directly into our silo, and I think, see, I've already messed it up. Is there a collision? Of course there's a collision. Let's see if I can get this thing lined up a little bit better. I think you have to pipe out. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you for working. It's not pretty. It's kind of, the wood chips are kind of going into oblivion somewhere there. But bottom line, it's unloading, and that's all that matters. All right. So pipe back in. Thank you very much. Unfold the front header again. Let's get lined up. There we go. So I'm going to be doing a few loads here, it looks like. Still faster than the other process I went through. It would be kind of nice to have, how do they say, an unreal capacity. Maybe that's something I could have done, but I feel like I'm kind of pushing my luck already as it is. Okay, we're good. So yeah, Clarkson's Farm Season 2, it looks like it's going to be kind of focused around, last year he had sheep, this year he's getting some cows, and I guess he's going to try and get a restaurant started. I kind of wonder when I watch it how much, like really how much is legit and how much is pretty staged. I really get the impression that a lot of it is pretty legit. I feel like when you put Jeremy Clarkson on a farm with somebody like his helper Caleb, I feel like you don't have to stage a whole lot. Like, you're pretty much guaranteed accidents, mishaps, and so on. And with animals, you never know what they're gonna do. I think if I were gonna farm and have animals, I know I've always, you know, I love our sheep. I think our sheep are great. They make us some good coin, but in real life, man, I think I'd have to go cows. I really do. Cows just kind of crack me up. I love watching cows with the back scratchers. The cow scratcher is fantastic. I think they would just be the funner. Is that a word? The funner of the animals. I think any of the animals would be a pain in the rump, but it's amazing to hear they get into a little bit of the politics too of the UK with Brexit, you know, and the UK going away from the European, I don't know, what do you call it, the European coalition or whatever it's called, and it just, you know, it's just awful to hear how farmers are just really taking a beating. Boy, this thing does not. Is there a problem with the speed issue here? I don't understand why I'm chugging it like 11, 12, but all right. Yeah, it's sad almost, you know, that these farmers that have produced food for so long and all this other stuff, and now they're just looking at, it's gotta be terribly frustrating, at the very least, and along with frustration, a great deal of anxiety and stress and just the unknowing of what's going to happen. What are the politicians going to do? And that has got to be, in and of itself, the most terrifying part, is leaving your destiny, your family's heritage, your existence, your way of life, your passion, your love, is completely at the mercy of politicians. And I don't care where you stand politically, that is a horrifying proposition. Because the chances that any of those politicians, and I know it's not impossible, but the likelihood that any of those politicians, A, knows anything about farming is very, very slim, and B, that they've actually worked an honest day in their life is probably also very slim. So I'm not saying that they necessarily, some of them haven't earned the positions they have. I'm not saying that some of them haven't worked hard to get to where they are. Look at that, trying to reverse this thing. That's pretty clever. Oh yeah, it's all over the place. But let's be reasonable. They don't know. They don't know. And they're making decisions, it seems, oftentimes that just don't add up at all. And you know, people say, oh, you know, you're a conspiracy theorist, or you're just being paranoid or whatever when you say things like follow the money and things like that. Well, you know, what else do you base a lot of their decision making on? You know, you base it on cash. Who's who's writing them checks? Who's got interests? You know? That's about as political as I'll usually get, but it seems to me like, unless you are a politician, it seems to me like it's kind of hard to think otherwise. And just listening to, and I went on YouTube and did some searching around for that topic of Brexit and farming, and it's just it's sad, really. That's what it is. It's sad, and if I were a farmer, I feel like if I were a farmer, I would want to just be like, you know what? Fine. We're just gonna all just stop producing food. And let's just see for fun what happens. But you know a couple things there. You know, number one, that some of them can't. Most of them can't. It's their livelihood. It's what they know. Second, well, you know what's going to happen. Import food. That's going to be so expensive. And that's not even getting into the effects it has on beef, farmers and so on. They don't have it exactly. They don't have it great either. From what I understand, they might have it a little better because they're dealing specifically with cattle versus crops, but there are still a lot of issues that need to be ironed out there as well. What was that noise? Hit something? Or was that the pipe coming out maybe? I don't know. I feel like we are getting a substantial amount of poplar this time around. How are we looking for quantity? I absolutely forget what our last poplar count was. Where is Mr. Poplar? Boy, our silage is so... Oh, man. Okay, 180,000 liters. I'd have to go back and look at what our last haul was. I'm assuming it has to be very similar because I really didn't change much as far as... I don't think the yield potential changed very much, if I remember correctly. But we make a decent amount of money with poplar. We don't make a ton of money with poplar, but this bad boy here wasn't cheap to lease. How much was this thing to lease? I actually completely forget what I have in total here. So basically about 10 grand there. And I'm gonna assume the header. Did I pass it? I passed it, didn't I? Yeah, here we go. There's the poplar header. So that was another 6 grand. So yeah, $16,000-$17,000 in lease costs, which we'll definitely easily be able to make up for with the sale of the poplar. Still not cheap. But getting this poplar done, out of the way, we'll get this field plowed up. Definitely is in need of plowing. And have to think about what we're going to put down on this field next. Have to wait for winter to finish up for us. And we're getting close to the end of Kubota Farm, so I'm thinking I would like to get through another planting and harvest, one more planting / harvest season, if that makes sense. I'm thinking once we get planted and we harvest fields, we're just gonna let them sit harvested and not do anything with them to finish off Kubota Farm. And we're going to end up selling everything we have. We won't sell the equipment because a large majority of the equipment was supplied by Kubota. We didn't pay for it, so we really can't take money for it. But we did pay for land. We did pay for our animals and everything, so we need to get a decent tally of where we're going to be at. Usually at the end of a map, I usually kind of treat it like a sale. Like we're just getting out of the business, selling everything. Give me a sale price and we'll call it good. And a lot of times I'll take that sale price to my next map to kind of go that way with it. I have to give that some thought this time around. Maybe take the sheep with us. Probably not the pigs. I don't think I'm going to be doing any... I don't think I'm going to be dealing with pigs on the next one. But I wouldn't mind dealing with sheep again. Oh, did I leave the pipe out? Maybe I left the pipe out. I did leave the pipe out, didn't I? Okay, I guess I'll just leave it out then next time. Boy, I just can't figure that corner out, can I? Always underestimate how far out this thing sticks out there on the back end. We should be getting close to our first DLC from Giants, right? I don't think a release date has been announced yet, but we should be getting close to that. Or maybe a release date has been announced. I haven't, if it has, I haven't heard it. We pretty much know what it's going to be. We pretty much know that it's going to have something to do with corn baling, or corn stalk, or corn chaff, or whatever you call it. Corn debris baling, I think, is the first one. January, February, March. I would think they'd want to release that first quarter of the year, so I would think we'd see it in March, maybe April. I'm gonna have to look and see if they did put a date out on that. Seems like I heard about something about it recently, but I don't remember hearing a date given for it. I still haven't purchased the year 2 season pass yet. I'll probably just be stupid enough to buy each one individually so I can spend more. I always feel like with the season pass, it just seems so expensive up front, you know, because it's basically buying the game again, you know, and it just seems, man, I'm giving them $40. But then I end up buying every single DLC that they put out, regardless of whether I really want to, or like, you know, am that interested in it or not. So it ends up being, what, like, I think you save like 20% or something like that with a season pass. So I probably end up spending $50 paying for the DLC individually. So I probably should just bring for the year 2 season pass, call it good. I'll be curious. Not that it matters much, but I feel like I'm a little, okay, no contracts. I'll be curious when the contracts come back here in a few months, if we're going to start seeing contracts again for the more variety of contracts and not just grass baling and mowing contracts, since I changed the fields quite a bit. I'll be curious to see if the game actually, I don't think we're going to make it. Oh, that'll work. We're very close to 100%. So maybe it's the, is it the folding? So we're going about 18 miles an hour. If I start folding the header, well, I guess it doesn't make much of a difference. We're still piped out. Let's see, it slows way down right there. What are you doing, buddy? Not really much of a hill. You sure like to go slow through there. Could probably move this trailer. That would help a tad. There, let's just move it. Oh. Let's see if I've got my... I still didn't get that corner right. That's unbelievable. I swear, depth perception, 0. No, you're piped out. It's just, I'm not lined up good. Let's see if this helps a bit. That should do it. There you go. Should probably pay a little attention to our factories as well. So close to basically 300,000 on the poplar. I need to check our factories because I think might want to take some wool over to our fabric production facility. They might be getting close to running out of wool. I suppose we could just let them run out of wool and whoops. That's not going to work, Brad. Try turning it on first. There you go. You got the idea now. Well, I will say this has made quite a bit faster work out of poplar versus this thing here, this 2-meter header job. I think I used last time, if I remember. So 2 meters versus there they are. 2 meters versus 9, plus self-contained like this. Actually, I think I did have a trailer attached to the forage harvester last time as well, if I remember right. I think I just did it that way. And honestly, I don't think this whole setup has any errors because this header, I think, is in the Giants mod hub, but I think this whole John Deere setup might have come from third party. I'm kind of wondering if this is the one from Papa Smurf's mod page. Have to track that down and see if that's the case or not. So if I line you up, that didn't work very well. There we go. That's a little better. So the weekend is just about here. I can tell you all that today, weather-wise for me, it has been, in my area, it's been one of those rain, sleet, has turned to the slushy kind of snow, you know, the kind that you get in a Snoopy snow cone machine. That's what we've been pelted with today. Starting in late morning, early afternoon, it started spitting out just basically freezing rain, and then it kind of turned into nasty freezing rain / Snoopy snow cone machine snow, and it's just been kind of ugly since. Traffic and all kinds of nastiness. I'm expecting tomorrow morning's commute to be, well, I'm recording this Thursday, so by the time you watch this, I'm either going to be at work or in a ditch, one of the two. I'm in dire need of some new tires for my car. I tell you, I really do miss my Jeeps. I used to run, man, for about four cars in a row. I owned a Jeep. I owned a 98 Jeep. And I used to know this, but I forget now if it was the CJ, YJ. But it was a 98 Wrangler. I refuse to buy any Jeep with square headlights. I'm a round headlight Jeep person. I know it sounds a little bit silly, but that's the only way I like my Wranglers to have are round headlights. So I had a 98 Jeep. It was a 4-cylinder. Never owned that again. I mean, it was fine as far as dependability, but it had zero. Man, Brad, you have got to figure out how to hit the B button. It had like 0 horsepower though, and it had these massively oversized tires. Fortunately, it was a manual shift, so I could at least, I don't think I ever got into 5th gear though, ever. On the highway, nothing. I don't think I ever had that thing in 5th gear. It just couldn't hold it. And I had that for not very long, for like a year or so. Then I bought a 98 Grand Cherokee. Really liked my Grand Cherokee. It had that straight 6, that classic straight 6 bulletproof engine. I'll tell you, I have never seen an engine. Those, no matter what you think of Jeep and Chrysler, those straight 6, those inline 6-cylinder engines they used to have, which they stupidly got rid of, which I don't understand why they got rid of them. Probably because they were too good. They weren't making any money on repairs. I know that sounds so daddish or granddaddy sounding, but I really believe them. There's some truth to that. Those things were just bulletproof. Literally, I had a friend that had a hole in the side of one, spitting out oil the whole 9 yards, and that thing got him like 100 miles to where he could get it repaired. It was insane. But anyways, so the Grand Cherokee was a good ride. I didn't do any kind of customization to my Grand Cherokee. That was kind of a family vehicle. Then the next one I bought was a 2002. It was the only brand new Jeep I bought. What are you doing? Looked like a dog wagging its tail or something there. I think it was a 2002 Jeep Wrangler. Boy, I love that thing. It's the only one I ever bought new. 0% financing. And it was just a good Jeep. It had the straight 6, the inline 6 again. And I just had that thing modified so much. Kind of silly how much I modified that thing, but it was just a beautiful Jeep. And then my last Jeep, I can't remember the year that it was, but I ended up with a Jeep Cherokee, a standard Cherokee Sport. It was the older style though, not one of the new jobbers. It was the kind of the boxy Jeep Cherokees, and it had the inline 6, and it was just fantastic. And what I always thought was so funny, between the Grand Cherokee, the Cherokee, and the Wrangler, that all had that inline 6, they all got literally identical mileage. It didn't matter what I would do to them, what tires I put on them. It didn't matter. It just didn't matter. They just all got the same mileage. Like 18. It was like 18.2 or something like that. And then that 4-banger I had that just didn't, you know. What am I doing here? I don't want to pipe out. Oh, I want to fold you. Folding is not allowed while the auger is extended. Okay, so you need to go in. Now you can fold. All right, I'm learning something new every day. Looks pretty legit. All right. You did a good job for us, buddy. Thank you very much. And that is the end of our Poplar dynasty. So what did we end up with roughly? Okay, almost 400,000 liters of wood chips. That doesn't seem too bad. That seems like a little bit more than we got last time. Maybe not though. Maybe not. When is Poplar? Oh, January. Well, shoot. We're not going to have it in stores for very long, are we? We're going to be selling that stuff next month. Well, goody gumdrops. And I think that's going to do it for Friday's edition of Kubota Farm. I appreciate y'all joining me again. I always enjoy having you along for the ride. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. I'd sure appreciate it. And subscribe if you so desire to do so. You'll probably see me this weekend farting around someplace, either an old family farm or here. And if not, you all have a really safe and hopefully relaxing weekend. And I will see you soon. Bye for now.